Welcome to Inside the Ink, where we uncover real stories from the creative minds and businesses shaping the professional printing. Built in 1971, Printing Center USA found its groove when ink met paper, and we've been rolling ever since. This is for people like you, creators making ideas real. Welcome to the Inside, and today I am joined by CEO and owner of O2 Treehouse, Dustin.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How's your day been? How are you?
Doing good. Yeah, just another day in the office. Bunch of fun stacked meetings with various projects talking about prefab, the engineering, whatever it may be.
Wow, wow. So you're pretty busy.
Oh yeah, it's every day's yeah, is never a dull day, I guess I should say. Yeah.
So I'm so curious. You're the founder and kind of the creative guy behind it all. Which one do you think actually prepared you more for running a business?
Which one prepared me more for running business? Well, the designer came first, I guess, so that's easy to answer and allowed me to become a CEO and owner of a larger company. That's what we're. So that's the great question. I think that design or creative educational basis provides you many tools in the toolkit to overcome problems.
Right.
And I don't think there's anything that provides more problems than on a constant basis than starting a business.
No kidding. No kidding. So you're kind of building up all your tools to make it happen no matter what.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think just, staying calm, level-headed, and, maintaining an observer effect in relation to problems that, sometimes really want to spike the adrenaline is super important, I think.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
as part of the design and actual installation building process that I originated when this company started, it's definitely translated well into that same outlook and that kind of thing in terms of solving like bigger problems and things that, involve more people. So,
Totally. Yeah. Being able to take that step back and really see the big picture in times of chaos, that's a great valuable thing to have as a business owner. Totally. And
yeah.
was there a moment where you realized, like, O2 Treehouse, this isn't just a fun project anymore? Like, I have to step up and be the boss for this? Like, was there something that happened there?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm trying to think of like a particular moment where that occurred. That's got a bit harder to pin down because the building of a business is gradual, uh,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
built by, this continual effort day in, day out.
Right. Yeah.
But anything where all of a sudden it felt more real or the stakes were higher, probably when we moved into our studio here and upscaled the square footage of the business.
Wow. Yeah.
Then we had tripled, made a jump to triple square footage what we had prior. And then the following year I needed to double that again. That was in 2022. So it was like
That's
it
huge.
was go time. Yeah.
Right.
Let me see. Well, and so I was in the middle. It was probably a good time with the kids too, because our oldest was 3 by that point.
Oh.
Yeah. Or no, she was 2 by that point. So
That's so exciting though, like being able to juggle the parenting side of things and still being a business owner. I'm sure you were just like running like a madman.
still am.
Still, it's like 20 years hasn't happened yet.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, you can't pour in the hours that you want to at night,
Yeah,
right?
no kidding.
Because you like, got so you're kind of it's like demands from both sides of the world,
Yeah.
and both are very serious demands.
Right. Yeah. So then do you have any advice for other business owners who are trying to juggle the family life with the business all at the same time?
I think that, yeah, this is almost cliche, I would say at this point. It's just said so often, but if you don't take hiring very seriously. Yeah. Take the act of adding somebody to your team very seriously because you might be in a market where you don't have the talent or maybe you didn't have enough people that applied during that application round.
Oh, yeah.
You have to look seriously that that you might have to run the opening for a longer period or like invest into other avenues to market the position
Right,
or forego all applicants that round that aren't going to fit the bill
right.
and continue to work two jobs, as it were, keep that hat on until you actually find the person that is actually qualified for it. Because sometimes, depending upon what business that you're in, you just don't find somebody that can has a good chance of likely really doing the job properly. And that's going to create such problems for you in the future if they're not able to grow into the true demand of that position.
Totally.
The only way to make it all work is if you're actually able to delegate properly and that people are actually owning the position and properly performing within it. Otherwise, you'll be a madman or what, trying to get it
So
all
there's two
done.
things that can make you run around like a madman.
Yeah.
Kids and running a business and hiring the wrong people. So that I think that's great advice though, because if you think about it, the more time you put into your hiring, sure, it might take a little longer to fill the position, but the peace of mind that goes into having the right person and just being able to delegate, like you were saying, to the next person and having it done as if you did it yourself is just so freeing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and if you, and that's, specific to answering that question, it's like if you have a family at home and you have responsibilities there, then you can't kind of take up the slack
Yeah.
necessarily and do all that other work at night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adds on to the family timing. So, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Hiring will save you time in every madman situation.
Right. Yeah. So, but it's always, but that's why that's not necessarily a balanced equation. And it's difficult to make a business actually work because you will continue to have to do those roles, and that's not necessarily something that always works, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's a lot of luck, like finding the right talent and bringing them into the business. So,
Yes.
but it's like the
Totally.
longer you stick it out, the more your chances of getting lucky are.
Yeah. You never know who might apply. And do you think from where you sit now that most businesses misunderstand stuff about marketing and branding?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that like really stands out, like you're like seeing it time and time again where businesses are just making this mistake?
Well, I think it's like if the myth, Michael Gerber's like famous book that he keeps, reduxing, is like the classic example where you have the technician who starts the business and says, "Oh, how hard could be? How hard could it be?" Or like, they're like, I'm gonna quit my business that I'm a technician in and then like start my own thing."
Right.
And they jump into it. And if they're not aware that they need to be both the craftsperson, the manager, and the entrepreneur all in the same brain within, the period in which they can scale to start hiring those additional people, then, your chances of like actually getting over the hump, avoiding the gravity of these various different waypoints of growth are extremely diminished, right? There's
Right.
some great programs out there though these days where you can online and take classes. So if you are the technician, then you can cut your teeth and learn some lessons from some old pros and
Yeah.
work. There's so many marketing channels these days, right? Digitally that you can get into that don't just need to be word of mouth, whatever it may be, right? And then you can
Right, yeah, and that totally reduces like a lot of the gatekeeping that happened before, like social
yeah.
media boomed so hard. And now everybody is like, hey, I can start a business. Like, this doesn't matter. I can do it. If anyone can do it, I can, right? So, yeah, I
That's
totally agree with those avenues. Like, just finding the resources, doing the research, and putting in that learning effort, just like getting the most out of your education that you can. Totally.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I would say I definitely made failed in that aspect for a good many years in the business where we had some advantages because we were building structures that were really, kind of savvy eye candy pieces. And so there was a
Yes.
lot of natural marketing that came to us with
Right.
magazines and online blogs, et cetera, doing articles,
Uh-huh.
help propel us along and get us some basically unpaid marketing And but other than that, I just relied entirely on word of mouth and just like focused on making the product quality, having the client's experience be good, developing that relationship. But imagining where I could have been if I would have focused on, more of like SEO and, run some pay-per-click ads, even in the early days, would have paid dividends in terms of like our speed to be able to scale.
Right, right. And some founders, they don't do that extra research, that extra learning, and they just stay scrappy forever. And others kind of overbuild too fast or scale too quickly. And so,
Right.
how did you decide where to slow down, where to speed up? And when you're making those marketing decisions now, what tells you like this is going to be worth the effort or this is just noise?
Oh, wow. I mean, I think that's the holy grail question in terms of marketing spend.
Right,
Sure. I think that I would say you have to enter into any marketing spend cautiously.
right,
And some things you can't do that, like SEO being a perfect example. Kind of need to invest into the whole thing, and you're not necessarily going to see immediate results and leads funnel from that. So there's also like the long term and then the short term seed planting. But if there's any way you can reduce like the initial spend to
right.
that might, show if you get any leads whatsoever from that effort and be able to track it properly. I would say that's the best approach. So then you can kind of bet on every horse in the race with your
Yes,
budget, right? And then
right.
then which one's working. You've tried a couple of them, then you put the rest of your budget into that later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense to me. And like you were saying, that's the big question for everyone right now in the marketing aspect, like what's going to work, what's not, what's trendy, what's not. And so
Yeah.
I'm curious, what is something that you do now that you wish you'd known before you first started O2 Treehouse?
Just in terms of marketing specifically.
Anything from your experience.
Well, yeah, well, I think that SEO and doing some amount of marketing is important
Right.
for anybody that's not. I think that, when I started in 2008, I did immediately do initial print catalogs and that kind of thing because I was able to do that on my own. Like had those graphical skills and that kind of thing. You know,
Right.
getting good product photography is pretty much like low cost these days. So that's super important. I would say that in terms of like if you look at the business broadly and things that I wish I would have done. Or wait, what was your question? Wish I would have done or things that I did? And
Something you do now that you wish you would have started like right at the beginning of O2 Treehouse.
oh, got it. Yeah, definitely investing more into marketing for
Gotcha.
sure and SEO. With as
Cool.
long as we've been around, if I would have been like focusing on SEO, I think we would have much better rankings.
Right. It's all about the rankings these days.
Yeah, yeah. Is my
So
camera going up and down with the zoom?
a little bit, but I can also edit that as well if you'd like.
Oh, okay. Okay. No worries.
Okay.
It's
I'll
like
try and adjust
following,
it.
yeah.
No worries at all. So if someone's watching this right now and feels stuck at the almost ready stage, what's the move you'd tell them to make
Like almost ready for
to launch their business?
to launch their business. Oh, yeah. It's like with any effort, I think you have to just get started.
Jump
It's,
in, put your feet in first, dive right in, get it going.
yeah, I mean, it's like being at the beginning of a maze.
Right. Yep.
And you are outside of the maze and you're looking into it and you're like, oh, I can see that there's a left turn and then a right turn. So I'm going to make all of my plans based upon trying to decide if I should turn left or right, because that's what I can see right now. And
Right.
so you spend all this time, like, the analysis paralysis thing, and you get stuck because you are telling yourself that this is the proper thing to do to reduce risk before you jump into something. And then yeah, you overthink it and you justify it because and hide the fact that that you don't want to take the risk or that you're scared to take the risk, not willing to take the risk. And meanwhile, you're just delaying the information that it's really critical that you receive that's just around the bend. If you would have just
Exactly.
started fail forward kind of approach, then you would have made all of these gains and been that much further through the maze where you're continually trying to get to a greater understanding of what the maze is, what
Right.
it entails, what things you need to learn along the way to be able to finally reach your goal and
Right.
the completion, whatever that is. So, yeah, that's
Like inspiring to me, Dustin. Like when you're looking at the path, the left or right, and you're just wishing that you had that overview of the maze. But the sooner you step into that left or right path, the sooner you'll know if you're making a good decision or a bad decision, and the faster you can correct it. I had somebody tell me a quote the other day that said, you can't hide behind this quarter and hope next quarter is better. You have to learn from that mistake and then keep going, make changes. And that's just exactly what you explained. I love how you put it with the maze. That's awesome.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. And it's like painting too.
Right.
Reference it as a creative process. A painter doesn't just the first stroke on the canvas is hardly ever going to be seen later. But you have to start and you get into once you start, it like reveals itself because you're interacting with the world and with the paint in this case, and like what colors end up coming out of your actions. And is it the right ones? And you course correct and tweak that color until you're in a flow state and everything just feels natural. And like the image starts to come and you get ideas along the way. And it's like this process of creation, which creating a business is that process of creativity and creation and making something. And unfortunately, today, the process of creativity, creation, and that whole what that process feels like and how it works isn't something that's taught, right? It's
Nope.
something that's really taken out of
Discovered.
us, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
have to build it yourself and learn what works for you because what works for you might not work, or what works for someone else might not work for you, and vice versa. So, yeah, totally. I love that.
Yeah. 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 Stepping back and like wielding both the fine details and the big picture simultaneously in the act of designing something to consider the constraints and opportunities as you're walking that journey are so important to achieving success so that you can see the things that the universe is presenting and providing opportunities right in front of you. If you get too tunnel vision and focus, then you end up just missing everything, missing the point, missing the pivot, which is tough, There's so much like different rabbit holes you can get into. But as an entrepreneur from the entrepreneur's seat, understanding and keeping like relevant and current with the world and the marketplace and the opportunities there is like critical, right?
I'm really curious. When you finally get a free day with no meetings, no projects, no designing, no building tree houses, and if you had like a free day to spend to do whatever you like, what are you doing?
Oh my gosh, I don't think that's ever happened. But I dream about that I'm going to free day in the business. Like I'm just gonna like go back on site and like build,
Some
get my harness on and like go install some tree bolts or something like that. It would be
yes,
fun.
yeah,
It's so gratifying, satisfying process.
totally.
But otherwise, like I usually like when I get that free time, I'm like super into like organizing things.
Ooh, that's awesome. I haven't
Remember
heard
that
that
movie?
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like community outreach stuff.
No, not at all. Like just like organizing like the dark corners of my life where I'm just like,
Oh,
oh,
yes.
this is a
Yes.
mess, or like I need to tweak that or clean that up, or
Right. Like that
um,
show, I can't remember what it's called, but I think it's called Organize My Life. And this lady like comes to your house and
Oh
like puts
yeah.
everything in little bins and like
Marie Kondo.
organizes this.
Talking about Marie
Yes,
Kondo.
yes, exactly.
Totally.
Oh my gosh, I love that show. So I'm totally right there with you. I could have things be a mess, but like organizing is the real fun part of cleaning up the
Like
mess.
they'll still have to stop me because I'll walk in the morning. Sometimes I'll show up a little bit early, and I'll
Uh-huh.
just jump into like organizing some crap in the shop or sweeping a corner and stuff like that. They're like, "Oh, it's a boss man." Because like, "Oh, maybe we should." I'm just like, "No,
Right.
I'm good. Like, you guys are
No,
good." I'm just like
right.
enjoying myself, getting a little
This is
physical,
what I like.
organizing a bin or something like that. That's just my
Oh,
brain going after stuff, but.
yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, something less boring than organizing, going back through old design projects and seeing, like
Right.
looking at old sketches, flipping back through sketchbooks in a way, they're digital, but it's like refreshing, be like, oh yeah, what was I thinking about that? Like, oh, I should do that design idea, something like that.
Yeah, that's so cool. Constantly turning the gears. I love that.
Yeah, that's right.
And finally, I have one last question for you. How can our listeners see your incredible masterpieces, find you on social media, or get their own O2 Treehouse?
Nice. Well, I'm glad that you asked. You can go to our website, which is O2Treehouse.com. That's the letter O,
Yep.
number two, treehouse.com, and go to treewalkers.com as well, where you can learn about our treehouse hospitality brand that we're launching. And fill out a form there, and that'll go straight to the sales team, myself, and we'll give you a call and start the process off.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, you guys heard him. O2, number two, treehouse.com and find him on social. Check out the tree walkers. Check it all out. But huge thanks to you, Dustin, for sharing your story and spending some time with us today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity.
Of course, and to everyone listening, thanks for tuning into Inside the Ink, where real people and real projects keep the presses rolling. Until next time, see you inside the ink.